In this video, you'll see how to work with integers and absolute value. An integer is a number that can be written without a fractional or decimal part. So if I have 0 right here, integer could be something like a positive 2 or a positive 5, or negative 3 would be an integer, or negative 5 would also be an integer. But something that would not be an integer would be something that comes in between these here, like if this was negative 4.8 is not an integer because it has a decimal part. Or if I have something like 2.5, not an integer because it has a fractional piece to it. An opposite are two numbers that are the same distance from 0, but on opposite sides of 0. And 0 is its own opposite. So let's look at some samples here. If I have 2, its opposite is going to be negative 2. If I have 99, its opposite will be positive 99. 38 will be negative 38. Negative 4 will be positive 4. And 0 is its own opposite. The absolute value of a number is a number's distance from 0. So if I have 0 right here, and I want to find the absolute value of 6. These signs here that are around the 6, those are the signs for absolute value. So if 6 is right here, and I want to find the absolute value of 6, well, I know that 6 is 6 units away from 0, so the absolute value of 6 is just going to be 6. This next question, what's the absolute value of negative 13? Well, how far is negative 13 from 0? Negative 13 is somewhere over here. And that's just going to be 13 units away from 0. So the absolute value of negative 13 is just going to be 13. And finally, the absolute value of 0. How far is 0 from 0? It's 0 units away. Here, the way I'd read this next problem here. This would be, what is the opposite of the absolute value of 5? So first, I'd find the absolute value of 5. The absolute value of 5 is 5. But now I want to find, well, what's the opposite of 5? That's negative 5. And this next question, what's the opposite of the absolute value of negative 7? So again, first I want to find the absolute value. Alright, so I want to find the absolute value here. The absolute value of negative 7 is just positive 7, and the opposite of 7, negative 7. You can also perform operations with absolute value signs here, and we're going to treat absolute value signs like grouping symbols, like parentheses, which we've seen in order of operations. So I'd want to perform the operations within the absolute value first, and then continue to simplify. So here, letter A, this problem is, what's the absolute value of negative 8 plus 9? Well, first I'm going to simplify what negative 8 plus 9 is. That's a positive 1. And then I want to find the absolute value of positive 1, which is just 1. This next question, 8 minus the absolute value of negative 30. Well, the absolute value of negative 30, I want to simplify this part here. So I want to find the absolute value first. The absolute value of negative 30 is just 30. So I need to then simplify what's 8 minus 30, and that is a negative 22. Letter C, the absolute value of negative 3 times 9 minus 15. Again, simplify what's inside the absolute value signs first. Negative 3 times 9 is negative 27. So now I want to find the absolute value of negative 27 minus 15. The absolute value of negative 27 is positive 27. And positive 27 minus 15 is going to get me to a positive 12. And last, 13 plus the absolute value of negative 55 divided by negative 11. Again, simplify what's inside the absolute value sign first. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. So now I have 13 plus the absolute value of 5. Well, the absolute value of 5 is just 5. And 13 plus 5, that gets me 18. Okay, here are some problems for you to do on your own. What is the opposite of negative 5? What's the same distance from 0 is going to be positive 5. What's the absolute value of negative 7? How far is negative 7 from 0? It is 7 units away from 0. Number 3. The opposite of the absolute value of 19. We'll first find the absolute value of 19, which is just 19, and then find its opposite, which is negative 19. Number 4. The absolute value of negative 11 plus negative 4. I'm going to simplify what's inside the signs first. I get negative 15, and the absolute value of negative 15 is positive 15. Number 5. The absolute value of negative 43 minus 12. The absolute value of negative 43 is positive 43. So I want to take 43 and subtract 12, and I will get 31. Okay, and the last example here. I have negative 5 plus the absolute value of negative 3 minus 11. So first I want to find out what negative 3 minus 11 is. That's negative 14. So now my next problem I want to simplify is negative 5 plus the absolute value of negative 14. Absolute value of negative 14 is 14, and negative 5 plus 14 gives me a 9. And that is how you work with integers and absolute value.